Hello, is anyone home? Hey, what's going on? Dr. Brad Shuck. I am hanging out here in my house today, and one of the things that I love to do with my daughter, she's 9 years old, is we love to build Legos. So I mean, like, who doesn't really love Legos? Everybody, what's going on? Dr. Brad Shuck here, coming to you from an undisclosed location someplace out in Oldham County, Kentucky. Look, I've got a big, ginormous pile of Legos here. Well, it's not ginormous, but we got some Legos here. And I don't know about you, but when I was a kid and I was growing up, I loved to play Legos. Now, one of the things that I love about having a 9-year-old at home is she also loves to play Legos, and so we get to kind of hang out together. And when we're building together, we're building little pieces, and this is a set. This was just in a bag, just a big pile of Legos that we have here. So we have just a big pile of Legos. Now, we can build anything we want here, and these pieces look different. Each of these pieces kind of has a different function, and here's something that she built earlier today. Here we go. But what if we really wanted to be intentional about what we're building? What would we need? Well, we would need an instruction booklet, right? And if we flip through the instruction booklet, we can see a step-by-step guide of how we're going to actually build something out of this pile of Legos. Now, when I think about Legos and I think about the idea of organizational change, these things have some similarities together, right? So sometimes in an organization, there are things that are happening, things that may need to change, things that need to be streamlined, things that need to be connected, things that need to be built, things that need to be broken down. But gosh, how do we do that, right? Well, when we think about theories of change, and we think about different levels of change, the theories give us a framework just like a guidebook does for a big pile of Legos. Just take, for example, the author's change path model. So they identify these 4 steps. The first is this idea of an awakening, and then mobilization, and then acceleration, and then this idea of institutionalization. And so the change path model gives us a framework that we can apply. And then when we think about things like Lewin's freeze, unfreeze, and refreeze, or we think about Kotter's 8-stage model, all of these are at different levels. Lewin's model is at an organizational level. Kotter's is a very tactical model that we can follow. So as change agents, you might work in an organization where you see things, or you're working with a client as a consultant where you see things that, I don't know, they need to change. These things need to be deconstructed. These things need to be connected and put together. We need to communicate. We need to think about people. And just like there are a bunch of different kinds of Lego pieces, there are a bunch of different kinds of people and different kinds of departments that work inside organizations. So like, how do you even think about that? Well, we have to know the what of change. So what are we going to change? What is it? And then how do we do it? What is the step-by-step guide? And when we think about not only theories of organizational change, but frameworks of organizational change that help us identify the what and the how. Sometimes it's hard to figure out, like, all right, what do I change and how do I change it? And so just like the individual pieces of Legos, we all work in organizations that have different things going on. So how do you even know what to change or how to change, or at what level do we change? So if we think about the pile of Legos that we have here, sometimes we build big things, sometimes we build small things, sometimes we even free build a little bit. The idea of how to change is about following a set of guidelines, a set of instructions. So when we think about change theories, we might think about how we're impacting and influencing the change within our organizations. And then what do we change is like those individual Lego pieces. So what within the organization are we actually able to change? And so when we think about not only theories of change and frameworks of change, it gives us a sense of, all right, what am I doing here and why am I doing it? We also need to understand and couple that with, what do we change? What are the pieces of the puzzle that I need to be thinking about as I think about change? As a change agent, as someone who's facilitating that change, as someone who is envisioning that change, we've got to do a couple of things. We've got to identify the what. So what in the organization, or what within the client relationship, or what within the system or the context actually needs to change? And then how do we go about changing that? And this is what theories of change tell us all about. Now, one of the things that I love about theories of change is that they come in different levels. So some of them are institutional level. Some of them are organizational level. Some of these are team level. Some of them are even at the individual level when we start to think about things like emotions. And so one of the things that you're going to want to think about, not only as you think about change, but at what level is that change occurring, and what are the pieces of the puzzle? What are the pieces of change that you want to influence and navigate? So as you consider the idea of organizational change, those two things become incredibly important. What and how. And just like Legos, just like having a big pile of Legos, we have the what, and when we pair that with an instruction manual, we have the how, and we can build something incredible. And look, just like change is messy, me trying to pick these Legos up is messy. Look, we drop pieces on the floor here. Does that ever happen to you? You're in change sometimes, you're trying to be a good leader, you're trying to identify the things that people need to be doing, and you just drop some stuff. Sometimes that stuff happens. Give yourself a little space and give yourself a little grace. Trust me, we all need that. What do you think about change? See you guys next time.